In this video, we are going to be discussing some major rumors surrounding former WWE superstar Cesaro. Will he be at AEW Revolution? Is it possible? Do we have to wait 90 days? I'm going to answer all of your questions in regards to that story. Also, in addition to that, an AEW wrestler has been injured before AEW Revolution, but as they say, the show must go on. Very, very interesting decision here to keep the match going, but we're going to discuss that. Also, former WWE superstar has shown up at AEW Dark. Also been showing up on Impact, so of course this is going to be a very interesting conversation. My opinions about AEW signing talent is starting to shift, and I'm going to explain why. If you guys want more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe. 7 days a week, I keep you updated with everything that is happening in the world of pro wrestling. Plus, we're introducing tons of new content and a whole bunch of awesome stuff. So subscribe if you would like some more. All right, guys, Christian Blake, aka Trey Baxter in WWE. Yeah, let's try to forget about his WWE run. I mean, literally, WWE did not do anything with him in NXT. If I remember correctly, we saw him against Ridge Holland at a TakeOver pre-show or something like that. But again, WWE was just signing so many independent talent. They were sweeping up the independent market, and a lot of people were not being used. So that's obviously one of the reasons why I would complain about AEW signing so many free agents, because I seen WWE do it and I saw it did nothing for WWE. Now Christian Blake was at the AEW Dark Tapings, which is phenomenal. A lot of people I know that watch my content, you may or may not watch Impact Wrestling. Christian Blake has also been on Impact recently, but it doesn't look like there's any sort of exclusivity there. Now, as Impact continues to bring a big focus to the X Division, I would like to see more of Christian Blake in Impact Wrestling. Christian Blake has been having incredible matches in the Indies. Of course, everything he's done at GCW as well was really cool. We saw what he could do at the Hammerstein Ballroom show at the World on GCW. And I think, you know, Christian Blake is exactly what AEW looks for in a talent. You know, it's AEW has this very specific thing where you have to be a really good wrestler to join their company. And I don't think there's a person on the AEW roster that is not good at this wrestling thing. So Christian Blake going to AEW does make a lot of sense. I don't know if there is going to be any sort of deals here. Obviously, AEW Dark, it's a way to bring in people, see what people are up to. And then, of course, later on in this video, we are going to talk about Cesaro. And I really want to make something importantly clear here. AEW acquired ROH. That changes the game for absolutely everything. And I do want to talk about that a little bit more in depth in just a moment. All right, guys, Thunder Rosa. You know who Thunder Rosa is. She's competing for the AEW World's Women's Championship belt at AEW Revolution. And well, now the Wrestling Observer is coming out suggesting that she was actually hurt a few days before this pay-per-view match, and she's injured. But there is this belief that AEW specifically is going to keep the match going. They believe that Thunder Rosa should be able to work the match. But I honestly, when I see something like this, I really don't know what to think, right? Thunder Rosa is badass. A lot of people don't realize that she also does MMA and stuff too. She just competed at GCW. I don't know what this type of injury is. There's talks of it being like her left leg or whatever. Maybe this match doesn't go 15-20 minutes, you know, and maybe Tony Khan kind of talked about this on the media call as well, and this is something that's not actually been discussed too much on YouTube or on the internet in general, but Tony Khan mentioned that these women would not main event, and he would love to put them in the main event. It's not going to happen. And I'm curious if maybe Tony Khan knew ahead of time, like, she's injured, she's going to work through the injury. They're going to have to play it safe. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, you know, this pay-per-view storyline, long-term storytelling that they've done between Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker has been going on for a very, very long time, since their first ever Lights Out match. So I bring this up to you guys to let you know that yes, Thunder Rosa is injured, but I still expect this pay-per-view match to be the end of the feud. I don't expect them to do anything more. I will talk about this in my predictions live stream, but she is working the match despite being injured, and it's going to be a very interesting decision to see what AEW does here. But I do think Thunder Rosa needs to win. It doesn't really matter how they do it. There's a lot of things about Jamie Hayter. Again, we're going to talk about that in the predictions live stream, so pay attention and get those notifications, and I'll see you there. All right, guys, speaking of AEW Revolution, we need to talk about Cesaro. A lot of people are curious as to what's happening with Cesaro. Again, Tony Khan was addressing Cesaro on the media call. Something that he actually said specifically about Cesaro was, I do like him a lot, and I have to say I met him many years ago, and he's a real gentleman. Have a ton of respect for him as a pro wrestler. Now, for those who know, Tony Khan is not going to tell you ahead of time who is coming to AEW. And there is this chance that perhaps Cesaro doesn't join AEW. There is nothing in this video, the title, or anything like that that is going to flat out tell you that Cesaro is coming to AEW, because nobody actually knows. However, we do know that AEW is planning a surprise, and we know that he's planning multiple surprises for Revolution. We also know that there is a lot of hype for Revolution. They are expecting huge buy rates. They are also expected to start new storylines at AEW Revolution. Now, when wrestlers get released from WWE, they have a 90-day non-compete clause. With Cesaro, he did not get released by the company. Cesaro, in fact, left the company. What happened was the contract he was signed to was expired. Okay? His contract was expired, and now he has the ability to do whatever, whenever, however he wants. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up, and the reason why I think AEW and Cesaro will be a good match, and I'll explain why it's okay for AEW to start signing some more people. One, Cesaro was very involved with Xavier Woods, up, down, down. He's involved with all the gaming stuff, which AEW is basically replicating on their own with the AEW Games channel. Obviously, you have Adam Cole and Evil Uno and, Colt Cabana, and you have all these other different individuals that Cesaro is obviously very well familiar with. He can easily fall into those plans. He can easily make that work, which is fine, right? Then we have the second reason why Cesaro going to AEW could make a lot of sense, and that is because AEW purchased Ring of Honor, which obviously anybody who knows Cesaro and his history knows that Claudio was part of Ring of Honor. Now, I also want to mention this because I think it is so incredibly important to mention this. AEW is going to have, it sounds like they've had this planned out. It sounds like everything's been pretty calculated. This idea of running multiple shows. Now, whether it's Rampage moving to 2 hours, whether it's Ring of Honor being put on True TV, whatever it may be, AEW and ROH are going to need a roster. There is technically no roster members of ROH currently. AEW could bring in Cesaro, and it could look like he's part of AEW. Okay? But it doesn't mean he has to be part of AEW. In fact, Cesaro could eventually reveal that he's part of Team ROH. AEW might very well do an invasion angle. It's very well possible. But I do think there is no rumor killer on Cesaro coming to AEW. Nobody is killing the rumors despite there being heavy talk. And usually when that happens, the debut actually happens. So we'll see what happens. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.